Hi guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com, and in this week's ukulele lesson, we're going to be learning our very first piano and ukulele duet. So this piece was written by my friend AJ, who is one of our new instructors here at rockclass101.com. So if you want to say hello and welcome AJ to our community, I've set up a form post on our site, so the link is in the description box below. So go ahead and hop over there and just say hi. Now, I met AJ quite a few years back when I was substitute teaching at the music college that we both attended, and AJ really stuck out to me. He was one of those students that you could just tell absolutely loved music and was super passionate about playing music, but not only playing, about learning as much as he could. And that's something that really stuck out with me, because when I was a student, I was trying to absorb as much as I could. I was just so happy to be there and just so excited to learn and to improve. And over the years, we've kept in touch, and I've always been blown away by his compositions that he does. And he plays multiple instruments. So everything that he puts out is, I'm just always like, wow. So I asked AJ to write a few pieces for us here at Rock Class 101, and I've been totally blown away. You'll see another one by him in just a couple, 2 or 3 weeks, so stay tuned for that. But I just want to say that I'm super pumped that he's jumped on board with our teacher roster. All right, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this lesson. So we're going to learn the entire tune in this video lesson, but if you want to get the assets that accompany it, you can click this link or go to rockclass101.com, do a search for piano and ukulele duet, and on that page you'll be able to print the tabs out that are presented as a PDF format, as well as access the on-screen tab viewer. Now this is a really cool feature where you can hit play, watch the tab scroll across in real time. You can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed you wish. Just a really great asset in learning this song that much easier. Now last but not least, you're also going to be able to download just the piano as a backing track in 3 different speeds. We have 100%, 75%, and 50% speed. So this way, once you learn the ukulele part, you'll be able to rock out and jam alongside the piano. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into learning this tune. A couple things that I want to talk about. Let's start with the right hand. So throughout this, I'm going to be using piccato technique for my picking. Now that's a picking technique that alternates the middle finger, then the index, middle index, middle index. So if I play just the first string, you can see I'm just literally alternating. Now sometimes I'm going to add my thumb. So for example, I'll usually use the piccato for string 1, string 2, and then the thumb for the 3rd and the 4th string if I have notes on those. So that's the right hand technique that I'm going to use, and a couple times we'll be plucking, doing it what's called a double stop, plucking 2 notes at once, so you can just use first and second finger when you pluck 2 strings. So that pretty much covers the right hand technique. Now the thing that's going to be the most difficult about this song is that it is pretty much entirely syncopated. So that means that you're going to be playing off the beat on the ends of the beat, on the ups of the beat. So the majority of the hits that you're going to be playing in the melody happening on the off beat. So to help us learn, we're going to be counting the rhythms out as we go throughout. So if you're new to understanding rhythmic notation, then definitely check out this lesson. It is absolutely vital for playing anything that is syncopated, because you don't feel it like you do when you have a downbeat. If I was to play quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's playing on the downbeat. But this song is literally playing on the opposite of that. So we're playing on the up. So if we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, so every hit was on the end. So that's the thing that's going to be really tricky. You definitely want to count this out. And I'm going to give you one really useful tip that involves you clapping and counting and tapping instead of playing. So we're going to talk about that once we jump into bar 1. So this song also has a swung rhythmic feel, so the eighth notes are going to be swung throughout it. So if you're new to understanding the difference between playing straight eighth notes versus swung eighth notes, then check out this lesson. I'll also put the link to it in the description box below. All right, so we're going to start off with melody A. So this song is melody A, melody B, melody A again. So it's a very simple form, A, B, A, and melody A is 8 bars in length. So let me go ahead and play the first couple bars because it sounds like a complete phrase, and then we'll break it down and learn it. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and... Okay, so that's what the first couple bars sound like. So let's talk about what's happening in just bar number 1. So I'm going to put up the rhythm hits over here, and what you're going to see is that the first hit is on beat 1, the next hit is on beat 3, but then we have syncopated hits on the off beat. So we're going to have on the end of 3 and then the end of 4. So we have 1, 3, end of 3, end of 4. So what you want to do, especially if you're new to playing syncopation, is to actually clap it out before trying to play it on the instrument. So it's going to be much easier if you really comprehend and understand the rhythms first before trying to put it onto the ukulele. So to do this, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be counting out loud the 1 and 2 ends, 3 ends, 4 ends. So we're going to count out the eighth note rhythm, and then we're going to be clapping on those hits, so those hits in red. And what you want to try and do too is you want to try and tap your foot along as you go. So for right now, you can just tap the right foot on the floor so that you hear it. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, so you can hear the taps are on the downbeats, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? But you're counting with the voice 1 and 2, and you're counting the eighth note rhythm. And from there, you just want to go ahead and clap on those beats. So if we go really slow, so we go 3, 4, we start on 1. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? Now, if you're new to doing this, all of these 3 things together, then use a metronome. It's going to be the best way to ensure that you stay in time. Because sometimes, we may rush, or we may slow down, or we may get off time with a combination of both. So definitely use a metronome to help keep you in time as you practice that. Or you can use the on-screen tab viewer, which will be really beneficial too, because you could actually set this bar as a loop. So let me show you what that looks like. So what's great about this way is that it will play back the music as well. So in essence, that acts as a guide to help keep you in time just that much better. So either way works, metronome or the on-screen tab viewer. Give them both a shot though. So anytime you're working through this tune, anything that seems difficult to do, break it down that way first before trying to put it on the instrument. It's going to really help you understand and comprehend those rhythms. All right, so let's learn what we're actually playing for this first bar. So again, it sounds like this. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, so everything you see is on the first string. So we're going to start out with that index finger on 5 on string 1. So we're going to play that note. It's going to last for half of the bar. So we have 1, 2. So 2 beats. And then for beat number 3, we're going to play again that 5th fret, followed up with the 7th fret. That's going to hit on the end of 3. And then we're going to hold this one out for a quarter note. And then we're going to hit the last note, which is the 9th fret, which is on the end of 4. So in essence, you have 5, 5, 7, 9. Okay, so first, third, pinky. It's a bit of a stretch. So if you're new to playing stretch phrases or stretch chords, then check out this lesson, which has 3 exercises to help you increase your left hand reach. So again, we have 5, 5, 7, 9. And if we count out that rhythm, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, so let's give it a shot together. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Awesome. Now this 9th fret, that's going to linger into our next bar. So our first hit on the 2nd bar is going to be on the end of 2, which is going to be that 5th fret again. So you're back to where you started. Okay? So let me count the first bar into the 2nd, and you can hear how I'm starting on the end of 1. So I have 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, so again, we're starting on the end of 1, so it's going to be that 5th fret, again with the index finger. From there, you're going to slide down to the 2nd fret, so still on the A string. Okay, and this one is going to be hit on the end of 2. So let's just practice that. We're going to hit on the end of 1 and then the end of 2. So we have 4 and 1 and 2 and. Okay, so again, end of 1, end of 2. Let's try it. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Okay, so this end of 2 is going to last into beat 3. Then on the end of 3, we're hitting on the 5th fret of string 2. And then the end of 4, we're hitting on the 3rd fret of string 2. So we're going 5, 3. So what do you notice about this bar? Every hit is on the up beat. So you have the end of 1, end of 2, end of 3, end of 4. So every one that you're hitting is on the end. So that's the easy way to remember the rhythm for this one. So again, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so 5, 2, 5, 3. Let's give it a shot. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, now if we backtrack, let's try bar 1 into 2. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's go ahead and jump into bar number 3. And again, let me play 3 to 4. It sounds like a complete phrase, and then we'll break it down. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so for this one, we're playing all on string 2 for the 3rd bar. So 3rd bar by itself, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what do we notice? The rhythm is identical to the 1st bar. So it should be familiar since we already have tackled that 1st bar. So again, we hit on 1, hit on 3, the end of 3, and the end of 4. So for this one, we're playing all on string 2. So it's going to be the 2nd fret, 2nd fret again, to the 3rd fret, to the 5th fret. So I'm going 1st, 2nd finger, pinky. But that rhythm is the key. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay? So a lot of times you'll see that I like to count, if I have a half note hit for that 1st note, I like to count it as quarters instead of 1 and 2 and. So to me, it simplifies it and makes it easier. So try that too. You don't always have to count everything as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but if that makes it easier for you, you should. This is really up to you and your call. But for me, I like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I like to simplify as I count. So let's see if we can try this bar together. 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Now this end of 4 is going to again get held into the first beat for the fourth bar. So far we're seeing a lot of the same repetition from a rhythmic standpoint. Now this bar you can see again is almost identical to the second bar. The only difference is that we have one less note. We're not playing on the end of 4, but all the other hits are the same. So again, remember you hit on the ends. You hit on the end of 1, the end of 2, and the end of 3. Now that end of 3 is going to be a dotted quarter, so it's just going to last the remainder of the bar. So this time around, we're going to be playing on string 3. So we have the 2nd fret to the 1st fret, and then to the 4th fret of string 4. Now this 4th fret is played on a low G ukulele, and I believe this is the only hit that we have in the song that is on the 4th string. So if you're playing a high G, this song will work for high G. Just that note may not sound as pretty as the bass note that we have with the low G, but it should be fine. Just because that's the only one note that we have on the 4th string. So with this in mind, let me go ahead and just play this one bar and count it out. Remember, hits on the ends, and then we'll try together. So I have 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, let's give it a shot. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Nice. So if we backtrack, let's try bar 3 into 4. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, and if I go any bit too fast, you can always use these instructions to slow down the YouTube player. But now that we've got the first 4, let's try 1 through 4. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So really, really cool sounding, especially if we play it at a little bit of that faster tempo. You can really start to hear that melody come out. Now let's take a look at the next the second half of this melody A. So we're going to look at bar 5. And again, 5 and 6 sounds like a complete phrase. So let me go ahead and just play 5 and 6. We can get a context of what we're about to jump into. So it sounds like this. All right, so let's break that one down. So it's going to start on the 2nd string. So the 5th bar is all on string number 2. So that first hit is going to be just the 5th fret. So I'm going to use my middle finger for that. And I can add a little bit of vibrato. And if you're new to vibrato technique, I'll put a link towards a lesson that goes super in-depth in the description box below. But that's going to get held out for a half note. So we have 1, 2. Then if we look at the second half of the bar, it's all 8th notes. So pretty simple. 3 and 4 and. The only thing tricky is that we're going to add a little slide on the last 8th note. 3 and 4 and. So we're just going to slide 1 to 2 for the last note. So on beat 3, you're playing the 3rd fret, then the 2nd fret, back to the 3rd fret, and then slide 1 to 2 for the last note. Okay, so you have 3 and 4 and. If you put it together, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that little slide gives it a little stylistic flair, really cool sound. So together you have 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Okay, so all this is just the middle finger, middle first, middle first. Okay, so let's give that one a shot. So pretty easy compared to the last rhythms because this one falls pretty much all on the downbeats. So let's give it a shot. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, end. Now this end of 4 is going to get held into the next bar, just as we've seen before. So it gets held for beat 1. Then on the end of 1, we're going to do the same little slide technique. And we're going to slide down this time. So down a half step. Okay, so let me play these 2 bars. You can hear what this 6 bar sounds like. So you hear that slide adds a little bit of a bluesy sound to it, so it's really cool. It's hard to do with the voice, but it sounds super duper cool. So there's little things that you do when you're playing that make a big impact, right? Just a little simple slide, but really adds a stylistic layer to those notes. Okay, so for this one, we're gonna be playing off of the 3rd string primarily. So we're gonna start on the 5th fret of string 3. We're gonna slide a half step down, and then you're going to go to the 2nd fret, and you're gonna play that twice. So we're starting the end of 1, and then we're playing the 2nd fret on beat 2, and then the end of 2. So you have 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So all of them are back to back. Okay, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So the end of 2 is going to get tied into beat 3, and then on the end of 3, you're back to that 4th fret. But you're going to use the ring finger. And you see how I'm kind of laying it flat? Because I'm going to pivot up to the 4th fret of string 4. Okay, so I have, watch that pivot. So you can see it lays flat, almost like I'm trying to play a bar chord, right? But I'm laying flat, and that first little joint right there, flat, that joint's going to pivot itself up. So you see how it raises up, and then that puts me on the fingertip for string 4. So just try that movement where you're on the joint is flat and then it pivots up, so it comes up, and that will put you on the fingertip to play the 4th fret of string 4. So you're going 4 on 3 to 4 on 4. Now when we do this, instead of fingertip moving, then it makes the note sound much more fluid and sustained, so we don't have an abrupt lift up. So you hear the difference? There's a lot of string noise in the background versus. The other thing too is that these fingers right here, this index in the middle, help to keep the other strings muted because they're lightly touching, as if you were doing a muted strum or a muted hit. So that's what helps to clean up the playing. So that's another little trick with doing this little pivoting movement. Right, very clean sound. And that's the whole reason behind doing the pivot. So I guess I did lie. There was one extra note that hits on the 4th string. Now, if you are playing with a high G, I would actually leave this note out and just treat it as a rest, because it's going to sound really weird to play with that pitch right there, that octave up. So I would actually just leave this note out and treat it as a rest. So you would rest on 4 if you have a high G. If you have a low G, you can play the note. So let's cover where we're at, up to where we're at. So we have 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so there's one more note, which is the 2nd fret on string 3. Okay, so let's just go ahead and add that. So together we have 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so if we backtrack, let's see if we can try 5 and 6 together. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So definitely one that you want to practice. Just because of those slides, they make it a little difficult. And that pivoting movement, if that's new for you, again, something that just takes time to get down. So now we're into our home run stretch, so bar 7 and 8. And we're going to introduce an eighth note triplet in bar 7. So let's talk about what's happening, but first I'll play it. 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, so the first thing we notice is that we're not playing any hits on the first 2 beats. And the thing is that that end of 4 from that last bar, that's going to be tied into beats 1 and 2 for bar 7. So you're actually holding out that second fret, so that last note that we played. So that means your first hit for bar 7 is on beat 3. So we're going to be sliding into beat 3. And the slide that I like to do is about 4 to 6. Okay, so I'm going to slide 4 to 6 on string 3. After this, we have a eighth note triplet. So if you're new to triplet rhythm, I'm going to put a link towards a lesson that I did before that covers it in complete detail, explaining it from a rhythmic point of view. But to give you a summary, eighth note triplet means that we're playing 3 notes in the span of 1 beat. So you're just subdividing that 1 beat into 3 notes. Or you can also think of it as playing those 3 notes in the span of 2 eighth notes. So the hard thing here that's happening is that triplet rhythm starts on the end of 3. So normal times when you're playing triplets, you're always playing on the downbeat. Triplet, 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 triplet. And it makes sense because it's on the downbeat. This time you're doing on the opposite. You're starting on the end, so you're starting the triplet on the end. Now the other thing I want to point out too is that this bar breaks out of that swung eighth note rhythm. So this bar is the only bar in the piece that is played with a straight eighth note rhythm. And that's because if we look at the rhythm hits, we have a rhythm hit of an eighth note on beat 3 and then the end of 4. So let me play this bar out for you, and I want you to get the rhythm stuck in your ear, just as playing it by ear. One, two. 1, 2. Da 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 da. So these eighth notes here, they're not played with that swung rhythm fill. If we played it with that swung rhythm fill, it would sound super duper weird. So it's kind of a really confusing thing. And for this bar, instead of counting it, I really want you to get that stuck in your head, that rhythm, and play it by ear. Da 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 da. So you have 1, 2, ba da 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 da. So get that stuck in your head and think of this bar as playing by ear. So with this bar, again, we're sliding 4 to 6 on string 3, and then we're going to play 5 on string 2. So this whole time I want you to keep this middle finger anchored down on that 6th fret of string 3. So play 5 on 2, then play 7 on 2 with the ring, back to the 6th fret on string 3, lift the ring up, play 5. So you have slide 5, 7, 6, 5. So watch the right hand technique going thumb, middle, index, thumb, middle. Thumb, middle, index, thumb, middle. So it's a hybrid of the piccato and using the thumb. Okay? Da 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 da. So we're going to start that slide on beat 3. So we have 1, 2, ba da 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 da. Okay, so 1, 2. Now this 5th fret, that last note that you played, that is going to get tied into the 8th bar for beat 1. So your next hit for the 8th bar is going to be the end of 1, and it's going back into the swung 8th note rhythm. End to end. So you're literally just going to walk down string 1. 5, 4, 2. So we have. So if I count it, I have 1, 2, ba da 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 da, end to end. And that end of 2 lasts the remainder of the bar. So you're just going to hold it out. So let's see if we can just try the last bar by itself. Start on the end of 1, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, 4. Okay, and if we tie in the 7th to the 8th bar, we have 1, 2, slide da 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 da, ba da da. And if we count it, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, end, and 2, end. So let's see if we can tackle the second half, so bars 5 through 8. Here we go. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, da 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 da, and 2, and 3, 4. Awesome. Now let's see if we can do the entire A melody. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 2, and 3, 4. So again, the hard part with this, as you've noticed, is playing all that syncopation. So I don't want to sound like a broken record, but do remember, first start with clapping it out, tapping your foot along, counting the rhythms, using a metronome, using the on-screen tablature before trying to put it onto the instrument. So you really want to understand those rhythmic hits before you put it onto the instrument and actually play it. So that's going to be the easiest way to tackle this. So that gives us everything for melody A. Melody A was 8 bars in length. Now the interesting thing here is that melody B is 9 bars in length. Okay, so again, I'm going to tackle 2 bars at a time just because it sounds like a complete phrase. So let me play the first 2 bars. This is bar 9 and 10, and then we'll break down just the 9th bar. So here's what these two sound like together. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and... Okay, so let's break down just that 9th bar, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, so this one is all on string 1. So we're going to start with the 5th fret. So we're going to play 1, 2. So we have a half note for the first hit. Then hit it again on beat 3, and again on the end of 3. So you're hitting that 5 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and. Then on the end of 4, we're going to slide in to the 4th fret. So we can do, again, a half step slide, 3 to 4. And I'm using my middle finger for all this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, so that makes it easy for me because the next bar, I'm going to go to string number 2, and I can start the first note of the 2nd bar with my ring finger before I go into the last phrase. So I like to use the middle for everything on the first bar. 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and. Okay, so let's try just the 9th bar by itself. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, so for our next bar, we're going to the 5th fret of string 2. So use the ring finger. And then we're going to the 2nd fret. Still the 2nd string. So for the hits on here, you can see that it's the end of 1, the end of 2, end of 3, 4, end of 4. So we have 1, and 2, end. So that's where we're at so far. So hold that into beat 3, and then we're going to walk up on string 2. So it's going to be the 3rd fret, and then the 5th fret. So far we're at 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. So that leaves one more note. We're going to take that index, play the 2nd fret of string 3. That's the end of 4. So you have 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, so let's break that one down slow. Let's try 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, if we recap 9 into 10, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But let's take a look at the next part, because the next part's really cool. So these next couple bars, this is 11 and 12 for the B melody. It's going to be a double stop hit, so we're playing 2 notes at the same time. So it sounds like this: 3, 4, 1. So a really nice change up in our playing for these next couple bars. So it's going to slide in on beat 2. So the thing is, again, that last hit on the 10th bar, the 2nd fret, you're holding that into beat 1 for bar 11. So with this double stop, we're going to use the middle and the index finger. So that's going to be 6th fret and 5th fret. So string 3, string 2. And we can slide a whole step in. So we're going to go from the 4th and the 3rd fret up to 6, 5. Okay, so that's going to be on beat 2. Then for 3 end, we can pluck it twice. So we have 1, 2, 3 end. And if you want, you can add maybe like a little staccato hit on beat 3. Sounds kind of cool. So we have 1, 2, 3 end. So with staccato, you're just going to pluck the note, then lift up. So you lift pressure up, almost as if you were doing a muted hit or a muted strum. And that cuts the note short. That's all the staccato is. Bup. So instead of da, instead of a sustain, bup, that's a staccato hit. So 1, 2, 3, and. So I can do a staccato if I want on beat 3. Sounds kind of cool. So on beat 4, we're going to rest, and then we're going to go one more hit on the end of 4. Okay, so together you have 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and rest, and. So you're plucking the 6, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, or you're hitting 6, 5 4 times, right? So let's see if we can try that one together. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay. As we've seen throughout this whole song, you're going to sustain the end of 4 hit into the first beat of the next bar. And then we're going to walk ourselves down. So we're actually going to go down to the hit that we slid from. So 4, 3. And then we're going to double 2. So you're actually going to lay flat. So this entire time you're plucking strings 3 and 2. But now we're just going to have some movement. So we're walking down. So let me play these 2 bars together. You can hear the context of the flow. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. So nice little walk down movement. So for this one, we only have 2 hits. So on the end of 1, you're playing 4, 3, and then the end of 2, you're sliding to the 2nd fret. So that bar chord, partial bar, you're going to slide in 1st to 2nd fret. So together you have 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, 4. Okay, let's try that. 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, 4. And if we backtrack, let's try those 2 bars together. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. Awesome. Now let's go back and let's try the first 4 bars of melody B. So 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. Awesome. So now let's take a look at the second half of melody B. So these next 2 bars are a little bit complicated again. Let me go ahead and play it for you. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, so let's break that down. So it's going to jump all the way up to the 12th fret. So I'm going to use my middle finger to play 12 on string 1. So I'm going to play this note for the first hit, which is a half note. So we have 1, 2. Then we're going to hit it again on beat 3. After that, we're going to move down to the 10th fret. We're also going to play this one twice, but our hits are going to be on the end of 3 and the end of 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, end. So let me play that again because something made noise. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, end. So again, hit on 1, 2, 3, and 4, end. Okay? So let's try that one together. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, end. Okay, so 12, 12, 10, 10. One more time. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, end. So again, we're going to hold this into the first beat of the next bar. And then we're going to move down to the 9th fret. So we're going to hit the 9th fret on the end of 1. After that, we're going to slide 6 to 7 on the end of 2. And then the end of 3, we're going to play the 10th fret on string 2. So this 14th bar sounds like this. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, end. Okay, so hit on the end of 1, end of 2, end of 3. So we have 9, 6 to 7, 10 on string 2. Here we go. 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. So if we try those two bars together, we have 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. So here's what the next two bars sound like, and there's actually an extra bar in this melody, so there's 9 bars. So I'm going to count into the last 9th bar as well. So this is bar 15, 16, 17. So here we go. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, done. So not too hard. Dum, ba-da-da-da, 2, 3, ba-da-dum. So very simple, these next few bars. So it's going to start where we left off, which is the 10th fret of string 2. So you're going to hit that, hold it out for the first 2 beats. Then you're going to hit it again on beat 3. And then go to the 7th fret on string 1. Then the 9th fret. Then back to 7. So that gives you that first bar. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and... So really easy for this one. Let's try you and I. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and... Okay, so again, we're going to hold this one into the next bar, but it's going to get tied for a half note plus an 8th note. So in reality, if we think about it, we're hitting on the end of 4, holding it in for 2 beats for a half note, and then an extra half beat. So you're in reality holding it for 3 beats, right? A half note plus 2 8th notes, 3 beats. So if you put all that together, you can see we have 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So your next hit is going to be on the end of 3. So you're really letting that linger for quite a bit. So that next hit is on the end of 3. It's going to be the 7th fret again. And then we're just going to play 10 on string 2 and then 9 on string 2. So just a little walk down. And 4 and then that 9th fret gets held into the 9th bar for the entirety of it. So again, it's the best way to think of this is just to put it into that phrase. So together, this is bar 15, 16, and 17. You have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Right? 7, 10, 9. So let's try that together. It's not too hard. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, done. Okay, so let's go ahead and backtrack. Let's try the second half of this melody B. We're going to start from bar 13, which was all the way up here on the 12th fret. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, done. Okay, and let's do the entire melody B. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a lot, right? That's, I would say, a little bit harder than the A melody. But really, once you start to get in the swing of that, playing those syncopated hits, it does become a lot easier. Definitely does become a lot easier. So after you get through that, that's the B melody. You're back into the A melody, and you're going to play the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars identical. So you're back into 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and... So those same identical 6 bars, nothing else, or nothing changes, but the last few bars does have some variation in it. Okay, so let's break that down. And did you catch when I said last few bars? So last few bars as in 3. So this A melody actually has an extra bar, so it's 9 bars. So that's the thing that's a little tricky with this tune. So the first A, 8 bars. The second melody, B melody, 9 bars. Then we go back to the A melody. This time we add 1 extra bar. So 8, 9, 9. So this is measure 24. And here's what the change is. We're going to be doing a slide starting on the second beat, and the slide is only 1 note. So we're going to be sliding to end before we get into the double stops. Okay? And the rhythms and the hits of the double stops in this next section is going to walk down again, but different rhythmic hits for it. So let me just play the last 3 bars and then we'll break it down and learn it. So 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 1. And that 1 will last 1, 2, 3, 4, the last bar. So you're going to keep in mind, just as we pointed out before, when you play that last measure, that second fret's going to linger into the first beat before you do this slide. So just want to point that out. So you're going to use your middle finger, slide 4 to 6 on the 3rd string. So that's going to be to end. So you don't want to rush this slide. So it's not a fast slide like the other ones that we've done. So you want to go to end, and then add that index finger back to 5 on string 2. And we're about to do the double hits. So you have 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and. So you have 2 and 3 and. Now what I like to do, if you're following with the tab, I actually like to pluck 1 note for that first hit. So I'm going to go 2 and add my index finger to 5 on string 2. I'm going to play just that note. You can pluck both if you want, but I like to play just that 1 note and then pluck both for the end of 3. 1, 2, and 3 and. So I'm going 4, 6, 5 on string 2, pluck both. 1, 2, and 3 and. Okay, then you're going to hit it again on the end of 4. All right, so let's try that together. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3 and 4 and. So that end of 4 is going to get tied into the first beat for the next bar. Then on the end of 1, you're going to go down a whole step. So you're going to pluck 4, 3. And then the end of 2, you're you're going to pluck the 2nd fret. This time you're just going to pluck the 2nd fret by itself, and you're not going to slide into it. You will in a sec. Okay, but I just want to point that out. So far we've seen a hit on the end of 1, hit on the end of 2. So 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so our last hit for this bar is going to be back to 4-3. That's going to hit on beat 4 this time. So really important that we hit on beat 4. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you can hear this 2nd fret, this out of this D chord right here. It's going to last for a beat and a half. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so you're plucking 4-3 again on beat 4. All right, and then the last bar, you're just going to slide 1 to 2 on beat 1 and just hold that out for the remainder. So if we put it together, I think we can do this together. Let's see if we can try the last 3 bars, 24, 25, 26. 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's try it again a little slower. 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's everything for this tune, guys. So again, the key takeaway from this lesson was learning to play with syncopation, hitting off the beat, but also learning to play with another instrument too, because now that you've learned it and you're gonna go ahead and just practice it, get it down, and build up the tempo. Remember, start slow, do everything like we did in this lesson, count it out as you play, really understand those rhythmic hits, then try to play along with the piano so you can play along using that on-screen tablature. And the cool thing is that it will act as a guide. So you'll have AJ performing the uke part, so he'll help keep you in time as you play along. So definitely use that asset because it's there to help you guys. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this tune. It was a lot of fun to play, a really beautiful melody, and super fun that it's a duet. And this is really great. We haven't done an entire song that was really all about syncopation. So this was really a great lesson in developing and getting to that next step with your rhythmic playing. So guys, again, I hope you enjoyed it. If you do want to say hi to AJ, remember the link to say hello to him on our forum is in the description box below. And I do want to remind you too that all those assets that I pointed out, you can check out all those if you click this link or go to the site rockclass101.com, do a search for piano and ukulele duet. And remember the tabs, that on-screen tab viewer, and the backing tracks. You can download all of that stuff on that page. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.